Have you ever found yourself caught in that cycle? You know the one. Head buried in a textbook late into the night, highlighter running dry, rereading paragraphs until your eyes blur.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Only to wake up the next morning feeling like your brain just, I don't know, hit the delete button on everything you just read.
Completely. It's so common, isn't it?
It's incredibly frustrating. And for so many of us, that's exactly how we learn to study. We put in the hours, the effort, the sheer grit. But the results just don't seem to match up. It leaves you feeling like a study martyr, sacrificing time, sleep, sanity.
But getting very little back for it. And that really is the core problem. What we naturally default to, those methods you just described, they're often the least effective ways to actually learn and, keep information long term. They create this thing called the illusion of competence.
Illusion of competence.
Yeah, you feel like you know it because you've seen it, right? You recognize the words, you nod along as you reread.
Right, it feels familiar.
Exactly. But that recognition is, well, it's deceptive. Doesn't mean you can actually pull that information out on your own, explain it, or, use it somewhere new. The really big insight here, the thing that changes everything, is that it's not about how long you study. It's profoundly about how you study.
Quantity versus quality.
Precisely. That shift is it's transformative.
That's it. And today, we're taking a deep dive into this incredible guide that promises to completely change the way you learn. It gives you a whole toolkit, really, to not just ace exams.
Which is nice.
Which is definitely nice, but to actually understand the material, make it stick for good. It's about ditching that study martyr thing and becoming more like a smart scientist of your own learning.
I like that framing.
Yeah, someone who gets how their brain works and uses that knowledge to study smarter. So our mission today is to really unpack the core ideas of active learning from this guide.
Exactly. And we're going to shine a light on 3 powerhouse techniques the guide talks about. These aren't just quick hacks. They're backed by cognitive science.
Okay, what are they?
Active recall, spaced repetition, and the Feynman technique. And these are, they're strategies that when you put them together, they really will change your relationship with learning. Think of this deep dive as your shortcut, getting you informed, giving you practical steps to really optimize how your brain learns.
Okay, let's get into it. This first big idea, passive learning. The guide calls it out straight away. That's what most of us do, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
It feels like work. You're sitting there, book open, eyes scanning the page, maybe listening to a lecture.
Or watching a video online, nodding along.
Exactly. You're doing the activity of studying. It feels productive. But is your brain really, grappling with it, pulling it apart?
That's the key question. Is it active engagement or just absorption?
Right. And the guide calls passive learning this seductive trap.
Yeah.
Because it feels good. It feels like you're doing something.
But the returns diminish so quickly. And it builds up that dangerous illusion of competence.
Okay, let's dig into that illusion a bit more. How does that actually work?
Well, it's kind of sneaky, really. Your brain sees the information, it's right there on the page or coming through your headphones. So when you reread it and think, oh yeah, I know this, your brain flags that recognition as understanding, mastery even. But it's, it's a false positive.
Okay.
And it's worse than just being inefficient. It actually gets in the way of real learning because your brain isn't being forced to do the hard work.
The retrieval part.
Exactly. It's not being challenged to pull that information out of memory. So those neural pathways, they just don't get strengthened. It's like looking at the answers before trying the puzzle.
Yeah, you think you get it.
You think you know how, but you haven't done the mental lifting yourself. And you miss out on what scientists call desirable difficulties.
Desirable difficulties. Sounds odd.
It does, but the idea is that making learning feel a bit harder in the short term by forcing that retrieval actually makes it stick much, much better long term.
Okay, that makes sense. And the guide points out some super common examples of this passive trap, things we all do.
Oh, yeah.
Like just rereading the textbook or notes.
Yeah.
Over and over.
Guilty as charged, probably for most of us at some point.
Totally. We can just one more read through, it'll sink in. But the guide is clear. After that first good read, just rereading gives you less and less benefit.
Diminishing returns, massively.
It becomes a really poor use of study time. And then there's highlighting or underlining.
The classic, making the page look pretty.
Yeah, turning your book into a rainbow. But are you actually processing anything? Or just pulling out keywords without really getting the connections?
Usually the latter. The guide says these common tactics, yeah, they look busy, but they're pretty ineffective for actually remembering and understanding.
Right. The act of highlighting itself is often quite shallow. You're maybe picking out nouns, but not grasping the underlying argument or concept.
Exactly. And same goes for passively watching a lecture or a video. If you're not actively doing something, pausing, questioning, summarizing in your own words, trying to recall what was just said,
Just washes over you.
pretty much, your brain isn't processing it deeply enough to really encode it into long-term memory. It's like listening to music in a language you don't speak. You hear the sounds, but the meaning doesn't stick.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It's like trying to get fit by just watching someone else run on a treadmill.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You see the effort, you might even understand running mechanics, but your muscles aren't doing a thing.
Getting stronger.
Nope. And it's the exact same with just looking over solved problems. You know, in math or physics.
I've done that.
We all have. You look at the solution, think, yeah, I see how they did that. Makes sense. But then you get a slightly different problem on the test.
And you're stuck. Blank.
Because you only recognize the steps. You didn't build the actual problem-solving skill yourself. It's a huge pitfall.
So the core issue with all these passive methods
The fundamental flaw,
is that they don't make your brain pull the information out. Information flows in.
From the book, the screen, the speaker.
But the brain isn't doing the, quote, real work of retrieval.
Exactly. And that retrieval step, that's where the learning magic happens, according to, well, decades of cognitive science. True learning requires active retrieval, not just passive reception, which leads to the big question. If you're not actively retrieving, are you really learning? Or just creating this temporary familiarity that's going to fade?
Okay, so if passive learning is the trap, what's the escape route?
The solution is active learning, or, as the guide often calls it, active recall.
Active recall, okay.
It's about completely flipping the script. Instead of letting information just wash over you and hoping some sticks, you are deliberately, actively pulling information out of your memory. You make your brain do the heavy lifting. You engage with it dynamically.
So you're not a sponge. You're more like an architect, building knowledge.
That's a good way to put it. And if we connect this to how our brains actually work, it's all about neuroplasticity.
Oh, brain changing.
Right. Every single time you force your brain to remember something, you are literally strengthening the neural connections for that piece of knowledge.
Like building a path in a forest.
Exactly. The first time you learn something, it's like a faint trail. Passive learning is like walking down a path someone else cleared. But active recall, that's you with the machete hacking your own path.
Okay, takes more effort initially.
It does. But the more you use that path, the clearer, wider, and easier it gets to travel. That effort physically rewires your brain. It makes future recall faster, easier, especially when you're stressed, like in an exam.
So it moves stuff from short-term to long-term memory.
Precisely. That repeated active retrieval is what makes it stick. It's the neurological basis of real understanding.
And the guide makes this pretty bold promise. Sounds almost too good to be true for some people, probably. Reduced study time and better grades.
Yeah, we're so conditioned to think more hours, better results.
Right. But this is saying it's about efficiency, not just volume. Working smarter.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about grades, is it? Though that's a great side effect. It's about getting your time back, feeling less stressed.
And actually knowing the stuff long term. Imagine understanding a concept weeks, months later, not just until the test is over.
That's real confidence. That's the goal.
That's the freedom these methods offer, yeah.
Okay, so let's break down the first powerhouse technique, active recall. You said it's the bedrock.
It really is. It fundamentally changes how you interact with information. Instead of asking, do I recognize this? The key question becomes, can I recall this right now without looking?
Without the safety net.
Exactly. You're testing yourself, forcing your brain to produce the answer from scratch, not just confirm you've seen it before.
And that tackles the illusion of competence head on.
Immediately. It's like a diagnostic tool. You try to recall something you can't, boom. You know exactly what you don't know.
No hiding.
None. It shows you precisely where to focus your effort. Huge time saver. Plus, every time you do successfully recall something.
You strengthen that pathway.
Right. You're moving it from fragile short-term storage to robust long-term memory. It's called the retrieval practice effect. It's the pulling out that makes it stick.
Okay, so how do we actually do active recall? What are the practical methods?
The guide gives some great ones. Your new study toolkit, basically. First up, the blank sheet method.
Blank sheet. Okay.
So you finish a chapter, finish a lecture, instead of just rereading.
No reread.
Right. Grab a totally blank piece of paper and just write down everything you can remember. Key points, concepts, definitions, processes, maybe diagrams. Brain dump it all without looking at anything.
I can see how that would be revealing.
Yeah.
And maybe a little scary at first.
It can be, but it's so powerful because it instantly shows you the gaps. Where did you get stuck? What did you miss? What couldn't you connect? Then, after you've dumped everything, you compare your sheet to your notes or the book.
Ah, okay. The comparison is key.
Absolutely. It highlights exactly what you know, what you thought you knew, and what you need to revisit. Makes your review super targeted.
Instead of just vaguely rereading the whole thing again.
Precisely. Turns studying into active problem solving.
Nice. What else?
Another great one. Create your own questions.
Okay.
As you're reading or reviewing notes the first time, don't just absorb. Actively turn headings, key terms, concepts into questions.
So if the heading is Causes of World War I.
Your question becomes, what were the main causes of WWI and how did they interact? Write these down.
So you're building a quiz for yourself as you go.
Exactly. It makes the initial reading active, a hunt for answers, and then later when you review, you don't reread the text.
You answer your questions.
Yes, forcing that active retrieval.
Okay, this next one feels important because we've all used flashcards, right? But maybe not correctly.
Very likely not optimally, yeah.
Yep.
The guide stresses this. The power isn't just looking at the answer. That's passive recognition again.
So what's the right way?
Put a clear question or prompt on the front. Then, and this is crucial before you flip it, force yourself to say the answer out loud. Or even better, write it down.
Commit to an answer first.
Yes. Only after you've tried to retrieve it actively do you check the back. It ensures you're recalling, not just recognizing. So instead of mitosis, cell division.
Put something like, describe the 4 main phases of mitosis.
Exactly. A much more effective recall practice.
Got it. And the last active recall method.
This one's maybe the ultimate test. Teach the concept.
Explain it to someone else.
Yep. Explain the topic out loud. To a friend, family member. The guide even suggests your pet or a rubber duck.
Ah, okay. Why does that work so well?
Because structuring the information, simplifying it, saying it clearly, it forces you to recall it logically, connect the dots, find the weak spots in your explanation.
You can't hide behind jargon if you're explaining it to a duck.
Exactly. It exposes all the fuzzy areas. It demands not just recall, but synthesis, simplification, real understanding. It's incredibly powerful.
Wow. Okay. Active recall seems foundational. What's next?
Next up is spaced repetition. And this is where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit counterintuitive.
How so?
Because our brains, well, they're actually designed to forget.
Wait, that sounds like a bug, not a feature when you're trying to study?
Right. But think about it evolutionarily. We'd be overwhelmed if we remembered every single tiny detail of every day. Forgetting is useful.
Okay, fair point.
This was described way back by Hermann Ebbinghaus, the forgetting curve. Basically, after you learn something, your memory of it drops off really fast at first, then the forgetting slows down.
Exponential decay.
Okay. But for studying, obviously, that rapid initial forgetting is a big problem.
So how does spaced repetition help?
It's the elegant solution. It works by interrupting that forgetting curve right when the memory is starting to fade.
Ah, you review it just before it disappears.
Exactly. And crucially, you do these reviews at increasing intervals over time. So maybe review day 1, then day 3, then a week later, then maybe 2 weeks later.
The gaps get bigger.
Right. You're telling your brain, hey, this info, it's important. Keep it. You're working with the brain's natural forgetting process, not fighting it constantly.
Like watering a plant just as it starts to wilt.
Perfect analogy. You reinforce the memory when it's most receptive, preventing it from dying out completely.
And this makes learning more efficient.
Hugely efficient. And it promotes long-term retention. Each review strengthens memory and slows down how quickly you forget it next time.
So it moves stuff properly into long-term memory.
Absolutely. It's the difference between shoving stuff into short-term memory only for it to vanish.
Which we've all done.
Oh, yeah. And truly knowing the material for the whole semester or longer, it basically eliminates the need for that last-minute panic cramming because you're building knowledge steadily over time.
Okay, how do you actually implement this? What's the schedule?
First, the most crucial thing. Combine spaced repetition with active recall.
Don't just reread.
Never just reread. Use your flashcards, answer your questions, test yourself at those intervals.
Got it. And the intervals.
The guide gives a good starting point, though it can be adjusted. First review, within 24 hours.
Okay, day 1.
Second review, maybe 2-3 days later. Third, about a week later.
Right.
Fourth, maybe 2-3 weeks after that. And a final one, maybe a month or 2 later, before a big final exam.
That sounds like a lot of reviews.
It seems like it up front, but each review session gets super fast because you're only focusing on the things you're just starting to forget. It's hyper efficient. You're not reviewing stuff you already know well.
Ah, okay. Targeted review.
Exactly.
Are there tools to help manage this schedule? It seems complicated to track manually.
There are, and this is great news. There are fantastic digital tools that automate it all.
Like apps.
Yeah, the guide highly recommends apps like Anki. It uses clever algorithms to figure out the perfect time for you to review each specific piece of information based on how you rate your recall.
So it adapts to you.
Totally. Anki can have a bit of a learning curve, people say, but the payoff is huge. Simpler options like Quizlet, especially its Learn mode, also use spaced repetition.
What if you prefer, like, paper flashcards?
Still doable. There's a classic low-tech method called the Lightner system.
Lightner system.
Yeah, you have several boxes. You start all cards in box 1. If you get a card right, it moves to box 2, reviewed less often. Get it right again, box 3, even less often, and so on. If you get it wrong, it goes all the way back to box 1.
Ah, so mastery moves it forward, mistakes move it back. Simple but smart.
Exactly. Proves you don't need fancy tech to use the principle.
Okay. Active recall, spaced repetition. What's the third powerhouse technique?
This one is named after a genius, Richard Feynman, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist, the Feynman technique.
Feynman.
Okay.
Sounds serious.
It's serious about getting to true understanding. It's like the ultimate test. Feynman famously said something like, if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough.
Simplicity equals understanding. I like that.
It's powerful, right? It forces you to confront what you think you know versus what you really get. It exposes those hidden gaps.
How does it expose them?
Because it's really easy to hide behind complicated words, right? Jargon we pick up from lectures or books.
Sounding smart without being smart.
Exactly. But if you can't define those fancy terms simply or explain the core idea without them, you probably don't truly grasp it. The Feynman technique makes you translate complexity into clarity, like explaining it to someone with zero background.
Okay, so how does it work? What are the steps?
It's beautifully simple, actually. 4 steps. Step 1, choose your concept, grab a blank sheet of paper, write the concept name at the top. Focus.
Got it. Step 2.
Step 2 is the core. Teach it to a child.
Literally. Or just pretend.
Pretend is usually fine. Write out an explanation below the title as if you were teaching it to, say, a 12-year-old. Use simple words, your own words, analogies a kid would get.
No jargon allowed.
Absolutely avoid jargon. If you have to use a technical term, ask yourself, can I explain this term simply first? It forces that deep simplification.
Okay, like explaining photosynthesis as plant kitchens making food from sunlight.
Terrific example. Exactly like that.
Okay, step 3.
Identify your gaps and go back. As you're trying to write this simple explanation, you will get stuck. You'll realize you can't explain something clearly, or you need jargon you can't simplify, or you can't link 2 ideas.
That's the friction point.
Yes, and that's golden. Circle those areas. Those are your precise knowledge gaps. Now go back to your book, your notes, whatever, and relearn just those specific parts until you can explain them simply.
Targeted fixing again?
Exactly. It's not failure, it's finding where to focus.
And the final step. Step 4.
Review and simplify. Read your simple explanation out loud. Does it sound clunky, confusing, still too complex? Refine it. Simplify the analogies. Cut unnecessary words. Make it short, clear, elegant.
Until anyone could understand it.
That's the goal. If you can do that, you haven't just memorized it, you've truly mastered it. You've built a solid mental model.
Wow. That feels like a really deep level of understanding.
It is. It's transformative for tackling complex ideas.
Okay, so we have these 3 amazing techniques: active recall, spaced repetition, Feynman. How do we put it all together? Like, what does a study week look like for this smart scientist?
Great question. Because they don't work in isolation, they work best together as a system. The guide lays out a pretty clear workflow.
An integrated game plan. Let's hear it.
Okay, step 1. During or right after class, Day 1 stuff. Pay attention in class, obviously. Take good notes. Focus on understanding, not just transcribing. Then, as soon as possible after.
Grading sheet method.
You got it. Quick recall check. What actually stuck? Then, while it's fresh, create your active recall materials. Make the flashcards. Write the questions.
Get the tools ready for later.
Exactly. This first session is your immediate review and your prep work. Takes a bit more effort up front.
But pays off later.
Massively.
Okay, step 2, the following weeks.
That's where spaced repetition kicks in. Let your app, like Anki or your calendar, tell you when it's time to review a specific topic.
Don't just randomly review.
Nope. Let the system guide you. When it prompts you, pull out your active recall materials, flashcards, questions, and test yourself rigorously.
Working with the forgetting curve.
Precisely. Cementing that long-term memory. And remember, these sessions should be quick, maybe 15-30 minutes a day total, but super focused and effective. No cramming needed later.
Okay, what about the really tough stuff? Step 3.
Step 3. Deep dive sessions. Maybe once or twice a week. Dedicate a focused block of time specifically for the concepts that are still giving you trouble.
The ones that didn't click with just active recall and spaced repetition.
Exactly. This is where you bring in the Feynman technique. Really wrestle with those difficult ideas, explain them simply, find the gaps, relearn, simplify again.
Go deep on the brain busters.
Right. Don't just gloss over them. This is where you build true mastery of the challenging material.
Makes sense. And step 4, leading up to an exam.
Step 4, pre-exam consolidation. In that final week or so, your spaced repetition system will naturally be showing you your weakest areas, the things you get wrong most often or haven't seen in a while.
So your review is automatically targeted.
Bingo. Focus your final energy there. Plus, and this is key, do at least one full-length practice test under realistic exam conditions.
Time pressure and everything.
Yep. It's not just about knowing the content, it's about practicing performance, managing time, handling pressure, finding any last-minute gaps. Are you just practicing content or practicing performance?
Good question. The smart scientist practices both.
Always.
So bringing it all together, what does this mean for you listening right now? It means you could stop being that study martyr.
Yeah, ditch the highlighter guilt.
Right. Stop the endless frustrating hours. You can become that smart scientist of your own learning. It's a total shift in approach.
More strategic, less brute force, more effective, and honestly, probably more enjoyable too.
And it's not just about grades, right? It's bigger than that.
Absolutely. Knowledge is powerful when you understand it deeply and can use it. But maybe even more powerful is learning how to learn. These are meta-learning skills.
Skills about learning itself.
Exactly. And those skills, they'll help you way beyond school. In your job, learning new hobbies, understanding the world. It's about taking control of your own learning process.
So the guide suggests starting small. Don't try to overhaul everything at once.
Yeah, that's wise advice. Pick one class, one subject. Try implementing active recall first. Maybe make some flashcards the right way. Build from there. The initial effort in creating the materials.
It pays back fast and time saved and confidence gained.
Exponentially, you'll feel the difference when you actually know the stuff, not just recognize it.
Okay, so a final thought for everyone listening. As you step away from this deep dive, maybe consider this. If you really could master this process of learning, this smart scientist approach.
The active engagement, the timing, the quest for simplicity.
Yeah. Where else in your life could you apply that beyond just studying for exams? How could it change how you learn at work or understand complex issues or just engage with everything around you?
That's a powerful question. Because the principles are universal, aren't they? Mastering learning, that really is a kind of superpower.